Hey everybody, Feral Marshmallow here, and welcome back to another video. Boom. You see, I've got variety. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit of a different video from normal. I've never really done this before, but I just one day had some inspiration and made a commander deck, and here's the commander of the deck, Winota. Winota is one of my favorite new legendary creatures from Ikoria, and let me just say, I am calling it. She is super broken. So let's take a bit closer of a look at her for those of you not familiar. So her name is Winota, Joiner of Forces. She's 2, a red and a white, a legendary creature human warrior, 4/4. So yeah, all of these are very powerful things. Whew. Like, it's so crazy. Like, crazy. Like, I couldn't believe it when I saw this card. I thought it was going to be banned immediately. It has not been banned immediately because it is not a certain elemental otter we all know about. Rest in peace. Like, could you imagine if instead of whenever a non-human you attack, look at the top for a human, it was whenever a human you control attacks, put a non-human creature on the battlefield? It would just be insane. So many non-human big things. Oh, awful. Awful, 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 awful time. Get banned immediately. At least add 2 more to the CMC of that. Anyway. So I've built a deck around it almost immediately. I've been sitting on it for a while. I'm aware that there are a couple problems. You see, there are 2 different types of creatures in the deck. Either one that's looking to trigger Winota for the non-human side, or 2, getting cheated out by Winota for the human side. And I went a little bit heavy on the more human-y side because I was like, oh man, but what if you could cheat this out? That'd be cool. Oh, what if you could cheat this out? That'd also be cool. So if you guys are going to change anything, I think I'd change that. But, you know, I can't playtest it right now until the cards are out. So I'm going to say that this is pretty good what I've built. And if I discover later on that I need to change up the ratio, then I will. And I'm not going to go over every single creature here, just the notable ones that I think you guys should know about that maybe not everybody knows about. Because there are big humans, like high mana cost humans, are not very, like, abundant, which I think is due to the fact that humans are generally squishy in a magic setting. But there are definitely a couple, like at the bottom, that I'll talk about. But mostly they either fall into one of the 2 categories, all centered around Winota. If Winota is not in your... Blah, blah, blah. If Winota isn't on the battlefield, you're screwed. Essentially. This deck freaking sucks if Winota's on the battlefield. OP if she is in the battlefield. So... I'm going to go over the big humans I think you guys should know about, starting with Evangel of Heliod, which is a 6-drop 1/3, which at first you're going to like, what? But hold on. When it enters the battlefield, put a number of 1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield equal to your devotion to white. Now, you might be asking, like, why is that good? You put 1/1 humans out. Humans don't even trigger the non-human side of Winota. Well, if you look again, it says 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. It does not say white human soldiers. So, essentially, when you bring this out, you're getting at least 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens, most likely many more. And that's just that many more triggers off of Winota, and it just starts to get crazy. You cheat this thing out and you are set for life. Like, such a good card in this deck. In any other deck, it would just not be good, but in this one it is. And this is our next 6-drop human. He's Kamal Pitfighter. He's a 6/1 with haste, which doesn't really matter in this deck. Hopefully you're not hardcasting this guy. Like, if you do, I'm sorry. It taps to deal 3 damage to target creature or player, which I think is one of the more versatile abilities in the deck. because he can just, tap, or he can swing, and when you cheat him out, you're getting a 6/1, and he's going to be indestructible, and that's swinging for a lot of damage. So it's just good fighter, good removal if you need it, because there's not a lot in this deck because it's so creature heavy, so I think it's really nice. The next one is Lana, Selfless Champion, and this one is a little like the same as one of the other ones, Evangel of Heliod. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. So it's a 6-drop human, 3/3, and then when it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white soldier creature for each non-token creature you control. Which is, get a lot of triggers off Winota. It's, it's super busted. Sacrifice it. Creatures you control power less than Lena's power get indestructible until end of turn. It's amazing. All of those 1/1 white soldiers and all of those really low costing things that are out to trigger Winota get to survive an extra turn, which is incredibly powerful. It means they will need to deal with you incredibly fast, and it's just such a good card in this deck. But like I said, like in any other deck, not extraordinarily powerful. In this deck, it's insane. And there's a couple effects like that. All of the big humans really do that. Alright, Silverwing Squadron. It's a 5 and a white for blank blank. So it's a flying vigilance, and when it enters the battlefield, its power and toughness are equal to the number of creatures you control. Already cool, flying vigilance, yeah, that's nice. Whenever it attacks, create a number of 2/2 white knight creature tokens with vigilance equal to the number of opponents you have. So minimum you're creating a 2/2 white knight whenever it attacks, and it's got flying and vigilance, which is just, there's a good chance it'll be able to swing, and then you're just creating more triggers for Winota. I mean, come on, this is, it's another effect like that, but this time the card is just better in general in terms of stats and flying and stuff. So I think it's a good trade-off for the extra power on the Winota trigger and the more power as a card. Now this is a 7-drop human. Crazy. When I found this, I was just like, what? Never heard of this card. Okay. Angrath's Marauders, 5 red for a 4/4 human pirate. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. So if you cheat this thing out, suddenly everything you do does double damage. Just everything you want to do in this deck. So unbelievably nice. You can just imagine cheating this thing out. The look on your opponent's faces will just be of despair. And I believe that's the last big human we have to talk about. Earl Pyre. It's 1 mana instant. Remove target card in a graveyard from the game, so exile it in, today's rules. Its owner puts a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying into play. It's just, it's a good card because you get a, you're not really using your graveyard for much in this deck. It's a 1 mana instant. Create a 1/1 white spirit with flying, And then we've got Recruit the Worthy, which is 1 white for an instant. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Now the important text of this card, buyback 3. So what buyback 3 does is essentially when you're casting it, you can pay the extra mana, in this case 3 of anything, to, as it resolves, put it back in your hand. So you just get to cast it again. And with a Winota deck, you have you're hopefully only casting cheap things, so you want to keep this card in your hand and be able to do it multiple times, because you're gonna want to keep up a lot of mana in case Winota gets removed, which is likely to be the case a lot of the time because it's such a magnet for removal. So whenever you are you have too much mana, you can do this, still keep a card in your hand, be able to do it again, potentially. So it's just nice, you get more stuff, you have the potential to cast it multiple times. I think it's really nice. I think it's really fits the theme of the deck. And then this one is Satyr's Cunning, which is 1 mana sorcery, 1 mana, oh my god, 1 red sorcery, create a 1/1 red satyr creature token with this creature can't block, and escape For 2 and a red, exile 2 other cards from your graveyard. This is really nice because you're not going to be using that big graveyard of yours. And it's a 1 mana create a Winota trigger, which is already really good. And then you just get to do it multiple times for 3 mana. It's just nice. You get to bring it back, you know, if your hand's getting low, which just might happen in Boros, you can, you know, bring it back. And then Dragon Fodder. This one's a clutch. It's 1 and a red to put 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield. 2 mana, 2 triggers off of Winota. Very nice. Just, you know, very straightforward. And then Forbidden Friendship is one of the new Ikoria cards. Incredibly on theme for this deck. Create a 1/1 red dinosaur creature token with haste and a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. What Winota's trying to do, you know? Winota's trying to, you know, bring animals, human skulls together. Aw, I remember when that was previewed, I was like, oh, that's cute. That's cute. And then Raise the Alarm. You guys all know what Raise the Alarm is. You know, you can pause it if you really need to. Then there's Thrill of Possibility. You know, we're in red. We're going to want some card advantage. You know, 1 in a red instant, ditch a card, draw 2 cards, you know, filter through the deck, you know. In case you got a big human by mistake in your opening hand, you can just, you know, toss it away, hopefully get something better. And then here's Unexpectedly Absent. It's a bit of a single target delayal. It's a X white for an instant. Put target non-land permanent into its owner's library just beneath the top X cards of that library. It's really your only way to get rid of non-land permanents in this deck. I mean, you're in Boros, what did you want? So yeah, this is about the only way for you to interact with a single non-land permanent that's not a creature. And here's Act of Treason. The odds are that they'll have a non-human creature is pretty good, you know. 3 mana, steal something. It's 1 less blocker they have, 1 more trigger off Winota you have. It's just nice. You know, you want more things attacking, you want less things blocking. It's just nice. And here is Flawless Maneuver. Now you can only get this in the C20 commander deck. Ruthless Regiment, which is Mardu, and a lot of these cards are based around that, so I'd suggest getting that deck if you want to build exactly this list. So yeah, a lot of them are the same from there because I kind of used it as, like, you know, building block. But anyway, let's read this card. 2 and a white, an instant. If you control a commander, you may cast this spell without paying its mana cost. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Incredibly powerful. If your commander isn't out, then you're losing anyway. So, like, you know, this card ain't gonna save you. Like, if you have your commander out, you just get to protect all of the things that can trigger Winota. Again, just probably one of the best. If you control commander, cast this card for free cards, in my opinion. Oh, no, not that yet. Alright, Sworn Companions. It's essentially just Raise the Alarm, except 1 extra mana and they have lifelink. It's, you know, it's alright. It fulfills what the deck needs. And then here's Cleansing Nova. It's 3 white for a sorcery. Choose 1, destroy all creatures, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. So, you know, it's one of your ways you can interact with the artifacts and enchantments on the board. If you're playing this deck, you're most likely not going to have many artifacts or enchantments. Alright, now we've got Planar Cleansing, which is 3 white, sorcery. Destroy all non-land permanents. Now, this is important because it gets rid of artifacts and enchantments and other things that aren't creatures, which your deck isn't going to be pumping out many of. So it's another piece of interaction. You don't want to be in the spot where you need to board wipe. You really don't want to be in that spot because it's a creature-heavy deck. It'll be hard to rebuild. But, you know, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, man. You got to do what you got to do. That's ultimately the best advice I can give you. Alright, and we've got Skull Clamp. What a really famous card. You're going to be making a lot of tokens with this deck and just things with low toughness in general. And you're going to want to have card advantage because, you know, it's one of the only ways you can draw cards in this deck. So, essentially, if you don't know what Skull Clamp is, I'll read it to you. It's an artifact for 1. Equipped creature gets +1/-1, and whenever it dies, draw 2 cards. Equip cost of 1. And you can get this in the Ruthless Degiment C20 deck, which is one of the best cards in the deck, honestly. Like any deck where you're going to be making small things, is you're going to want to run that, which we're going to be planning on doing that a lot, making small things. And of course Soul Ring, I don't need to go into that for you. It's a commander deck. Come on. Commander deck. Arcane Signet used to be a really expensive card, but now it is not so because all of the new Commander 2020 decks have them in it. Just Arcane Signet, it's all in there. Hopefully the price is going to shoot down. They used to be something like $8, but now they should stabilize since all of these are going to come with it. And it's just a good card. 2 mana, tap for any color you need, which is nice. And then Boros Signet. You know, come on, you're playing Boros, you're going to want the Signets and the Soul Rings. I don't got to explain none of this to you. And then, Invulnerability. Now, you guys might not know what this one is. It's 1 and a white for an enchantment. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to an enchanted creature. You can put it on either a really strong creature you don't want dying, or just something that triggers Winota. And then Pacifism. This is pretty self-explanatory that you want as little things blocking possible so you can smash their face in. And then Smothering Tithe, it's a white deck. You're gonna want to run this. It is just so good. It's I think it is the most expensive card in the deck. It's not that much though. It's like $8 right now. It should be fine. And then here's another expensive one is Cathar's Crusade. It's 3 white enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. You're going to be putting a lot of things on the battlefield. You're going to buff up your peeps. It's going to be really, really nice because you'll be essentially unstoppable without a board wipe. If you keep that board presence up, it's going to be absolutely insane. And this one's $5. Most of these are like 25 cents. And the only reason they're worth something now, maybe, is because of Winota. And I'm going to talk briefly about the mana base. You're essentially, any Boros land is good. You know, here's the Pain land. You know, if you have a fetch land, put those in. Command Tower, you know. Fabled Passage is a nice choice. The only one I'm going to go over, really, is one that caught me by surprise because it was in the Ruthless Regiment C20 deck. It's Windbrisk Heights. It's a land and it has Hideaway. It enters the battlefield tapped. When it does, look at the top 4 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, then put the rest on the bottom of your library. You can tap for a white, pay a white, and tap it. You may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost. If you attack with 3 more creatures this turn, you are going to want to run this card because it is just really, really powerful because you are going to be wanting to swing out. Swinging with 3 creatures seems pretty easy to do, and then it's 2 mana to play something for free. Like, who knows? Like, with all of the big things you're going to be running in this deck, that is a really, really powerful option. Well, guys, that was my Winota Joiner of Forces EDH deck tech. Hope you liked it. Let me know your thoughts down below. Anything I should change, you know, just, you know, leave it in the comments. You know, I'm always open for any help. And yeah. Well, until next time, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, peace out.